Hello and welcome to my channel, and before I get started, apologies for the video silence this month because well, there's two principal reasons why I haven't done any videos up to this point. The first one was for the first half of the month, the first like 15 days or so, I was in a holding pattern waiting for a certain pre-ordered figure to come in because I wanted it to be my Bot 800, and so because of that, I didn't really buy anything. I mean, I did some third-party pre-orders, but they're for bots that are coming out next year. But I didn't actually buy anything, for coming in this month. I didn't buy any KTRTs because of this reason, because I didn't want them to come in before this bot arrived, and because of that, I didn't feel the need to do any reviews for the first half of the month. So that's the reason why I didn't get any videos for the first 15 days or so. And then about midway through the month, the computer went screwy. Something went wrong with Windows on it, and it refused to boot up. So my computer died. I had to take it into a shop on Monday the 18th of December, and they said, oh, it's going to cost you a minimum of £55, blah blah blah, and it's going to take us at least 5 days to look at your machine, and with the workload, with pre-Christmas workload we've got, before we can get it done. Anyway, I went back 5 days later, and turns out they hadn't even touched the machine. It was still in there at the back of the work queue because there were other jobs that were far much higher priority. So I didn't think I was going to get it back till the new year. But the other day, I had a phone call from them. And they said, oh, we've had a look at your machine. Turns out, it is a fault with a Windows boot up. You're going to have to reinstall Windows. So they've reinstalled Windows. It's had to have like 200 updates done to it to get it up to spec. And because it had a complete Windows reinstall, it means that all the software that I had on the machine has basically been wiped off, and I've been having to reinstall it. So I got the machine back today. Today being Friday, the 29th of December. And I've spent most of the morning and a bit of the afternoon sort of getting the programs reinstalled that I could find, and get the machine up and running. But it's back, and now I can do videos again. I mean, it was a worst case scenario. If I didn't get the machine back before the end of the year, I was planning on doing some videos on my mobile, either live videos or sort of videos. But because of the editing software I've got on my mobile phone, it doesn't allow me to edit videos the way I'm used to. It wasn't exactly an ideal situation, but anyway, those two things combined meant no videos. But I'm back now. I've got the machine back. The webcam's running, the software's working. Right, let's get on. Right, today's video is my top bots of the year. Now, the last couple of years I've done that TF of 20 whatever bots, TF 20, what was the first one I did? Was it TF 15 in 2015, TF 16 2016? I've decided I'm not going to do that this year. I'm not going to do TF 17 in 2017, mainly because this year I've really struggled to select 17 favourite bots out of all the bots I've bought this year. I mean, I struggled last year to get a list of 16 bots together. This year it's been even harder. I mean, up until a few days ago, I only had like 5 bots on my top bots of the year list confirmed. So I had to sort of go in and look at the bots I had left, and then I've bit of soul searching and head scratching, and yeah, okay, this is my final list. So I've decided to just do a top 10 this year. So this is my top 10 best bots of 2017. My top 10 bots of the year. So to get started, again, like last year, I don't do them in order of preference, best to worst. I do them in order of chronological purchase. The order in which I bought them in is the order I'm going to present these bots to you now. The reason being, I look at the bots and I think, well, it's difficult for me to say this bot's much better than that one. I can't really put them in order of preference, and that's the reason why I do this the way that I do it. Anyway, I've got 10 bots to show you, and let's get started. Okay, so the first bot on my top 10 list is a pretty obvious one, and I think a lot of people are going to have this on their top bot or their 2017 list or whatever this year. Got it on the 7th of April. Takara Tomy, Masterpiece, MP36, Megatron. Obviously this is an original one. I mean, now you can go out, there's a couple of companies that are doing knockoffs of this guy. I mean, Toy House Factory's doing one, there's at least 2 other companies doing knockoffs of this. This is a pucker one. I got it back in April. I missed out on the pre-orders for this figure because it was being pre-ordered at around about 150, 165, depending on who you got it with. I missed that boat, and then I waited until the figure actually came out before I decided I wanted to get one. And of course, by then, all the pre-orders had sold out pretty much for the initial production, and it was a few online tailors that had got them. Doing them at scalpers prices. So I nearly got one of these from Robot Kingdom, but because of a little glitch with the my PayPal payment not going through, I quit out of that, and I went onto eBay, went to Mr. Animatropolis, and I got MP36 off him for, what was it, £191, and then it had a small customs hit when I got it into the country. So all told, this guy's cost me £196, and he is now the most expensive toy that I own. Now, this guy nearly didn't make it onto this list. Some of the honourable mentions almost bumped him off, but it was a case of I was looking at the other figures and I was comparing it with this and saying, well, if it was a choice between this bot and this bot, which one would I rather have? And MP36 won out every time because of what it represents. It's Megatron, it's a gun former, it's a masterpiece. You can't really argue much about that. Yeah, I mean, this toy's got its issues. I mean, the robot mode it nails the G1 cartoon aesthetic. Not that that's something that's I'm particularly bothered about. I prefer my Megatrons to look, nice and shiny. They got that shiny silver sheen to them, which this guy doesn't. He's got like a dull sort of metallic finish, which is again more cartoon accurate than anything. It's a great figure. Very complex transformation. The gun mode it looks like one of those 3D puzzles you get from Ravensburger. It's all got lots of panel lines on it, like Mackie Toys Despotron. But it's a great figure. Don't get me wrong. It's a really good figure, and it's a worthy masterpiece. But it's the first of these new wave of masterpiece figures that are coming out from Takara, where they've decided, oh no, let's just bump the price up and charge way more for them than we did in the past. I mean, yes, he comes with a big box full of accessories. He comes with all the gun bits, the stock and the barrel extension, and a whole load of accessories that were used probably one time on one episode in the series or in the movie. And it's got the sound effects, obviously, built into the fusion cannon. So yeah, there's all these little bits and trinkets they've done, but it's a great bot, and I think it really needed to be on my top bots of the year list because of its MP Megs, its MP36. So he's the first bot on my top 10 list. Moving along, on the 12th of May, I received another Masterpiece bot. I got Masterpiece Soundwave. Now, this guy is kind of a booby prize because I was trying to get Fans Project Chimera out of Kapow. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a mix-up in the order. I got sent Ikara by mistake. I didn't want Ikara. I sent Ikara back, and they said, right, okay, what do you want instead? I paid $69.99 for Ikara. I was looking at another toy on Kapow's website for $69.99. Nothing really jumped out at me as something I wanted to get, and I was looking around and I saw they had the latest, or the final reissue of MP13, and it was, I think, $134.99, and I said, okay, if I buy that, and give you an extra payment, can I have Masterpiece Soundwave? And so that's what they did. I got a little bit of money off because I've been messed around with my order mix-up before, but he finally arrived, and this guy, if I'd have just waited a couple more days, this would have been my 7th centenary bot. This would have been, bot 700, but he wasn't. He was bot 701. Well, actually, no, 702, because 701 was Berserker, TLK Berserker. But yeah, I couldn't be prepared to wait because another bot I've got in front of me here, he was coming in and I didn't want him to be a centenary bot. So this guy, very close to becoming a centenary bot. But don't get me wrong, this thing is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. I mean, it just looks amazing. It's a total update of the G1 toy. It transforms more or less the same as the original toy, but with a few extra bells and whistles. Some people say that it probably needed to be a little bit more complex, but I'm quite happy with it the way it is. You know, the design, the build quality. You know, obviously he hasn't got laser beak in there, but and this is apparently the last reissue of the MP13 mold. And of course now there's all these dozens of KO versions of this figure flooding the market. So yeah, but I got him and he is absolutely amazing and definitely worth a place on my top bots of the year. So number 2, Masterpiece Soundwave. Right, number 3, which arrived on the 23rd of May, and when I got this guy it was like, yeah, he's top bot of the year. Mastermind Creations R19 Kultur, or Tarn. You know, DJD Tarn. I mean, wow. This thing is just amazing. It just looks every inch the evil leader of the Decepticon Justice Division. They just nail the aesthetic. It's got IDW, you know, aesthetic written all over it. Very easy transformation. Super build quality. I mean, absolutely solid. Yeah, he's just incredible. Fantastic. I can't really say much more about it. It is easily one of the best bots I've bought this year. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Looks amazing. Decently articulated. Again, like I said, easy transformation. Fantastic. Love this thing. So that's number 3. Mastermind Creations Kultur. Now, number 4, which arrived on the 1st of July. Titan's Return, Siege on Cybertron, Legends Class Pounce. Now, this was the first of the Titan's Return clone-bot molds to come out, and it was in that limited edition box set that they did, where they had 5 figures that were, you know, repaints of existing molds, and then they would throw one brand new mold into the mix, and it was the clone bots. You had the other one, which was Chaos on Velocitron, was the other one where you got Fast Clash in it. But this guy, absolutely adore this thing. He's really neat little figure, easy transformation. But unlike, I mean, I've got was it Wingspan and Cloud Raker in that 2-pack at TF Nation. They're not a patch on this guy. They're nowhere near as good. I mean, the deco on these guys is slightly different to the official release ones. These limited edition ones, they're slightly different things, but the transformation is so much fun, so easy. And then you end up with something that actually looks like what it's supposed to be. It actually looks like a big robotic cat, which the other ones, their uploads are questionable at best. But no, it really, really works. Fantastic little figure, great colours, really fun to mess around with, neat little transformation. It's fantastic. I love this thing. Yeah, I paid a lot of money for it. I think I said at the time I paid 35 quid for it, but it wasn't actually 35 quid, it was about $35 I paid for it. But it was about 27 quid, which is still a lot of money for a Legends class figure. That's like more than double what Legends class go for. But needless to say, in the last couple of days I've also ordered the final clone bot. I've ordered Fast Clash off the same seller I got this from, Mr. Animatropolis, because he's again splitting one of the box sets up, and so I managed to get Fast Clash, and I paid over 45 quid for it. And yet a couple of days later, he slashed the price on it, and then eBay was doing this thing, 20% off all purchases off eBay for the next half a day, and it's like, yeah, I missed out on that, but yeah, got this guy. He is brilliant, absolutely brilliant little figure. I loved it, loved him, and he was a shoe-in for my top bot of the year list. So that's Titans Return Legends Pounce. Now, 6th of July, getting into TLK territory now. Voyager Megs. Yes, oh yes, this thing is incredible. It is amazing. Easily one of the best figures to come out of the TLK line. There was a few good ones, there were some stinkers, but there was some good stuff that came out, and this was, I think, easily one of the best figures. I've got the leader class one. He's in here. I've also got the Legion and the one step, but this is the cream of the crop. This is the best one. Lovely, smooth, silky sort of finish on the plastic and the paint they put on this. Excellent moulding. Really fun transformation, fun and intuitive transformation. Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, it hasn't got any wrist swivels. The fusion cannon's probably a little bit small, but then again, the one on the leader class is like way too big. So, but it's a fantastic figure, brilliant figure, easily one of the best figures I bought this year, easily one of the best movie toys they've ever done. It's that good. It is that good. It is absolutely fantastic. Love this thing. Super pumped that I managed to get one. Obviously, I bought mine, I think it was off Amazon for about 35 quid. Yeah, well happy to get that. Brilliant toy. So that was number 5, TLK Voyager Megs. Now number 6. Again, this is one of the figures. I mean, like those ones, well, not necessarily all those ones I showed you, but most of those I've just showed you were, well, except MP and Soundwave, were shoe-ins for my list. But we're getting into the ones where, I had to figure out over the last couple of days that I wanted to add these to my top bot list. And what I decided upon is this guy. Now this is the Kingdam KDO6 Jet Robo. It's a knockoff of Diaclone Starscream. Now this is represents one of the bots that I had when I was a kid. This is old gang member. I had one of these when I was a kid, and obviously I got rid of my Transformers when I was a kid. When I became an adult collector, I was harking back. I wanted to get replacements for the bots I had as a kid, and this was one of the ones that was eluding me for the best part of 4 years. I thought I had an original Diaclone one, but when I looked into it, it turns out I actually had the KO Kingdam version when I was a kid. And one of the ways you can tell it is it's got like the nose cones made out of hard plastic, and the build quality on it's not great, because I can remember the wings, swiveling them round, it wore the pegs out, and the wings used to drop off, and I had to wrap sellotape round them to get them to stay in the holes. Of course, now you can just use things like super glue and nail varnish polish to dress up loose pegs and get them to fit properly. So there's ways and means around it. And I recently got a set of G1 Starscream Repro labels, which I stuck on him the other day. So, but yeah, I really had to put this on my top bots of the year list because, it represents one of the bots I had when I was a kid. And I struggled so hard to get hold of one of these figures. I'm passed on a few over the years, but whenever I've seen them, they've been ridiculously priced. I paid about 85 quid for this, which is still a lot of money for what is essentially a knockoff G1 Starscream. But when you consider this toy is over 30 years old, then you can understand. And it came with the original box and most of the accessories. It was only missing the pilot and the long missiles. Yeah, the decals were pretty tatty, so put some new decals on it and it's ready to go. I was after one of these for so long, and I was absolutely thrilled to bits when I finally got one, and because of that, for nostalgia value alone, that's why this guy has made it onto my top 10 list of 2017. So that's KO Diaclone Starscream, aka Kingdam KDO6 Jet Robo. Now, KTRTs. Now, you know I do this thing. I buy these bots from Korea, these Korea transforming robot toys, and I like collecting them. And this year I've been pretty much going fairly mad with them. And they're the staple of my channel. I like to review them because hardly anybody in the West bothers to buy these things and review them. They're pretty much a Korean exclusive thing, most of these toys, because they don't get sold much out of Korea. So I like to buy them. And I like to reserve at least one place on my top bots of the year for a KTRT bot. And this year it's been a toss-up between 3 bots. I mean, the other 2 you're going to see on my honourable mentions. But the guy I decided to go for is this guy. Turning Mecard WHG Gryphinx. Now, I got this guy, when did I get him? I got him the 8th of August, which was like the week before TF Nation. I actually took it to TF Nation. I hadn't taken it out, and in the bar on the night of TF Nation, we unboxed it and had a play with it. Out of all the KTRTs I've got, this is by far the most impressive. It's got thigh swivels, it's got bicep swivels, it's got a ball jointed head, it's big, it's, I mean, that pops off if you're not careful. There we go. And it's got ratchets. It's basically 2 figures in. It's a combiner. It's 2 figures in one. You've got the trousers. The red part is a guy called Sphinx, and the white and purple bit on top is Gryphin, and the 2 come together form Gryphinx. It's heavy. It's nice and shiny. It's very well engineered. Each of the bots has effectively got 3 modes. They've got like a vehicle mode. They've then got what's recorded as a mechanical mode, where they transform into a robotic creature, and then they combine together to form this giant robot. Absolutely brilliant figure. Love it. It's by far the best, most impressive KTRT I've bought this year, and that's why I decided to add it to my list. So that's number 7, Turning Mecard HG Gryphinx. Now, TF Nation. Yeah, went to TF Nation, bought a bunch of stuff. A couple of figures I bought at TF Nation which were, in my opinion, stood out from the rest. One of which is on my honourable mentions. But the one figure that I've decided to put on my top bots of the year list, it's another Megatron. It's Henkei Megs. Classics Henkei Megatron. Now, for a long time I had shied off this mould, mainly because the gun mode is not realistic looking, and also the Hasbro version's got some really gaudy colours. But at TF Nation, I saw, it was actually on the Toy Food stand, there was a loose one of these, and I was looking at it on the Saturday and thinking, actually that looks pretty good, I might like to get one of those. But then when I came to buy it on the Sunday, it had gone. But fortunately, In Demand Toys had some brand new box ones over the other side of the hall, so I managed to get a brand new one. And I never really played with this guy until I was doing one of my haul videos for TF Nation. I think it was the initial TF Nation haul video. I got this out and had a play with it, and oh my god! I mean, I know the transformation on this thing was kind of involved. It's got a very asymmetrical transformation, which if you don't know how it works is very interesting. But then you get into the gun mode, and yes, it isn't a realistic gun, but what it does for me represent, it looks a hell of a lot like a gun that you can buy or use in a computer game I'm a big fan of, which is Borderlands from Gearbox Software. It looks like a gun straight out of Borderlands. You know, you flip this thing into its gun mode. It's like a futuristic looking revolver. It's got like a ridiculously huge scope. It's got like an angled trigger guard on it, and it's the aesthetics and the angles on it. It just cries out Borderlands weapon. It looks like a weapon you get out one of those vending machines for Dal or Maliwan. You know, if you've played the game, you'll know the manufacturers I'm talking about. You know, something from Marcus, the gun trader. And when I saw that, it was like, oh, this thing's wicked, this thing's amazing, and I had to get it. The bot itself is pretty neat. In the Henkei colours, it looks more like G1 Megatron, though, with all this red and black and silver. It kind of looks like, was it the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron Megatron? Looks more like that. So it really works. It's got like a huge scope on it. Fantastic figure. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Love the thing, and yeah, it's on my list at number 8. So number 9, another TLK figure. The TLKs, I did buy some of them in the shops, but you know, quite a few of them I actually bought online. I mean, I got my Megatrons off Amazon, and I got this guy off Amazon as well, even though I had a bit of trouble getting it off Amazon. The first time I tried to get it off Amazon, apparently my order got cancelled by the seller who was in America, because I think they were reluctant to ship to a UK address, but I don't know. So I had to try again a few days later. Unfortunately, I found another one at a similar price, and I might have been the same seller, I don't know. But anyway, TLK Leader Dragonstorm. Now, this thing works for me in a couple of ways. One, it's a dragon. I kind of like dragon formers. I got a little thing for them. So the fact that it transforms into a big ass dragon, yeah. And then there's the engineering on it, because this is a combiner, but it's a reverse combiner, if that's such a thing. It's basically 2 Voyager robots that transform into a single leader class beast. So it's 2 robots that transform into an alt mode. Now this is different. I mean, this 2 robots forming together into a single alt mode hasn't been seen that much in Transformers. It's not unique. It has been done before. Originally there was some G1 Micro Master combiners that did it. And then later on in Revenge of the Fallen, at the opening sequence, you had Skids and Mudflap, who were combined together to form that really crappy looking ice cream truck at the beginning of the film, and they split off and turned into robots. Yeah, that is a similar sort of thing as well. I don't know what the name is for this kind of combiner. I mean, it's not a duocon, is it? I mean, it's unusual. But anyway, this guy does that thing. He does that unique thing whereby 2 robots combine together to form a single alt mode. In this case, a massive 3-headed dragon. The way it works, the engineering is quite spectacular as well. You've got one of the guys, is it Dragonicus, which is, he basically formed out of the 2 of the dragon heads, the all 4 legs and the wings, and then the other guy is just the middle head, the spine, the butt plate, and the tail. And was it Dragonicus and Storm Rain? That's it. Is it Storm Rain? Storm Rain is this guy, the guy in the middle, and he is probably one of the most anemic Transformers I've ever seen. He's got nothing to him. When you take him off, there's nothing to him, but he's still, the engineering on him, he folds into, and then you know you close the clamshell out around him, and you've got a fully functioning, pretty much fully functioning Voyager figure. So the engineering on this thing is incredible, and that's part of the reason why I like it. It's absolutely fabulous. So yeah, because of that, he's on my top bots of the year list. TLK Leader Class Dragonstorm. And then I got him on the, if I didn't mention, on the 24th of October, so he's number 9. So number 10, the last one. Now, he's part of the reason why, well, he is Well, here's the reason why you didn't get any videos off me for the first half of this month, because I was waiting for this guy to come in. And yes, he did become my bot 800, though I kind of corrupted the results to make it happen. Jiang NE01 Mega Master, their new masterpiece Megatron with Laserbird. Well, he's actually just an accessory, so he's not. So here he is. Yeah, got it just before, well, about 10 days before Christmas. He's very big, very impressive. There's a lot of hoo-ha going on in the forums about, is this thing a KO or is it a third-party figure? It's a bit of both. I mean, yeah, they totally ripped off the head sculpt, the fusion cannon, and all the accessories are pretty much ripped from MP36. But the rest of it is more or less unique to Jiang, apart from maybe the design of the hips, which is kind of similar to X-Transbot's Polyon. I should know, because I've got all the Megatron gunformers and I know how the transformation works on them, so I can say, you know, with experience, which parts of this toy are similar to other, you know, transforming toys of a similar type, you know, and it has got a lot of unique stuff. The way the arms work is unique. The way the chest works is kind of unique. I mean, look at the back. The back is like so clean on this. And, you know, it's just great the way this thing works. The buttstop is built into the legs, which in some ways is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it's really clever engineering, but it's a bad thing. You can't remove the buttstock from the gun mode should you want to just have the bare pistol. But that's a minor gripe. He's huge. Got lots of ratchets. Little bit. He's a little bit restricted in the articulation. He hasn't got any like double elbows, and his hips are kind of restricted when going backwards and outwards. But again, minor gripes. Minor gripes. I love my gunformers. I was really looking forward to getting this guy. He's amazing. He's fantastic. And he's bot 800. So, yeah. That's why he's the final bot on my top 10 bots of 2017. So that's them. A couple of honourable mentions while we're at it. Some KTRT bots that didn't quite make the grade. Tobot Athlon Metron, who arrived on the 16th of May. I did a review on him, and like I said, the reason he is the reason that this guy isn't bot 700, because I was worried that this guy was going to come in and become bot 700, so I went out and bought some TLK Deluxe figures. And if I'd have waited a couple of extra days, this guy would have come in before this guy. So, yeah. I'm a bit annoyed about that, but hey-oh, it's what it is. So, Metron. I mean, Metron, he's got 5 swivels, bicep swivels. He's big and chunky. He's really cool, and he transforms into a train. So yeah, there's a lot going for him, but wasn't quite on the list. But he's definitely an honourable mention. Then on the 21st of May, Raptor arrived. Mecha Beast Guardian Raptor. He's again a really cool bot. Awesome looking bot. Again, decently articulated. He's a triple changer. He's got 3 modes. He's got a robot mode, a raptor mode, and a rhombicuboboctahedron, like an 8-sided cube ball thing. This guy's in the new season of Mecha, which is called Captain Dino, because they've gone over to Dinobots, and he's one of them. He's a really good figure. I mean, he's actually got a waist joint, even though it's part of the transformation and it goes one way, but it totally works as a waist joint. But didn't quite make it onto the list, so he's another honourable mention. Then on the 18th of June, DX9 War in Pocket X20 Skya. I'd seen some reviews of this guy on some of the other channels. I think Pure did a review on it, and I really like the look of the transformation on this, because these DX9 War in Pocket dinos, they have really neat little transformations which are kind of a new spin on the given way that Dinobots transform. They've added a few bells and whistles to the transformation. A little bit compromised in some areas, like none of them have got working waist joints because of it, but he's a really cool looking figure. He's not that much, pretty much the same size as a G1 Swoop, but he's very solidly built, excellent joints, cool transformation, fantastic figure. And after seeing this guy, I went ahead and bought the whole line, basically. So this guy convinced me to get all the War in Pocket Dinobots. But brilliant little figure. But again, this guy was... I was basically, when I was, a couple of days ago, when I was doing my my last couple of bots, I was basically squaring these guys up and says, right, you got these two guys, which one is better? And obviously MP36 is the guy you want. So yeah, he's a honourable mention, but great little figure. Oh, and yeah, so yeah, 13th of August at TF Nation, I got Shackwave. I got like the pre G1 Shockwave. He's brilliant. He fully working, and came with box instructions. Absolutely love this thing. Again, one of the best figures I picked up at TF Nation, but again, he's honourable mention because when you compare him with some of the other bots I got in my top 10, he didn't quite measure up. But, and again, it's not an original official, well, it's not the original Shackwave or Astro Magnum. I think this is a knockoff, but it's still, you know, a 30-odd year old toy, so it's still vintage and in excellent condition. So that's why I like it so much. But yeah, he was a thing. Now, the last one, the last honourable mention. I'm not going to say too much about this. I'm going to leave him in the box for now. Yeah, I got Primus, aka Transformers The Last Night, Mission to Cybertron. Bought this on my pre-Christmas toy hunt a few days ago. Got it for a very, very good price, but I'm not going to say any more because obviously you'll see some more of this guy on my end of month bot haul, which I'll be doing in a couple of days' time. Yeah, so then there's that. So that's it. That's the lot. That's my top bots of the year. Don't know whether you agree with some of my choices. Again, it's the bots that I bought in this this particular year. I mean, some of these bots did come out this year, some of them didn't. I mean, you know, this guy came out in about 1980, in like the early 80s. So, yeah, so he's pretty old. But yeah, so that's my list. Again, I really struggled to get a list again this year, and I didn't get as many bots that I could have said were, you know, better than the rest. And that's why I decided to do a top 10 rather than a, you know, TF17 in 2017. But then that's it. That's my my best bots of the year. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I will be doing my end of month bot haul in a couple of days' time, where I will show you the bits I got this month. And again, apologies for for not putting any videos up earlier in the month because of reasons, because of waiting for this guy to come in, and then my computer went to rat shit. So anyway, it's all good now, it's all sorted, we're up and running again, and I'm making videos again, and hopefully I will catch you again for my final video of the year. So see yous, bye bye.